So Edelvit is actually a word that two words that mean royal white. The reason we named this wine Edelvit is because it is so easy to drink. It's delicious. It's fit for royalty. So this is going to be our go-to for this cream sauce.
I have some Edelvit.
Yay!
Isn't that funny? Like mine's.
Cheers!
That was not on purpose. We didn't plan that.
No, we sure didn't, did we?
So if ever there was an advertisement of why you need to get some Kiepersol wine, get the Edelvit. I was just laughing with my husband. I've got everything kind of chopped up and ready to show you what we're going to do. And the smells are just clustering into, it's as if I've already eaten it. And then I opened the bottle of wine and I was smelling it. I was like, oh.
So did you, so is it the Edelvit that you opened?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I've got it open right here. It's already.
Yeah, we do. That is pretty good. That's pretty good. I literally looked around thinking what would pair, and Edelvit is the one that pairs any.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
What we are doing is learning to cook a few things, and then we're looking forward to a specific date. Can I say the date? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine with me.
The 19th, we're going to do a whole cooking show where you guys are going to get an ingredients list, and you can cook along with Emily at home. Turn her on, and while she's cooking, you can be cooking too. And I think that's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
That's going to be a blast.
I've been practicing the recipes, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I've got a couple recipes that are very foundational in the kitchen. And so once you get comfortable doing what I'm going to show you how to do, you can absolutely throw in seasonal flavors and make it your own. And I think it'll be a really fun class.
That's going to be a blast. So also, we met here at the winery, and both of us have this huge love of food and wine pairing. And if you guys have a chance, check out her blog, Food for a Year. I'm learning so much about seasonal food. And Ron Martin, if you're hopping on, not sure if you are, but I saw some of his peppers in our restaurant yesterday, and I thought about you. I go, where did those peppers come from? And sure enough, they came from Ron Martin.
Oh my goodness.
For our wonderful salsa. So it is very inspirational, and so many people have gardens, and to actually apply them and use that fruit that you harvest. It's fun to have a garden, and then you're sitting there with fruit on your kitchen counter or food, and it just goes bad so frequently.
And you keep doing the same things with it over and over, and you kind of get tired of it. I think that's why people have a hard time with fresh produce, is because they keep doing the same things, and then you get burned out on it. And so I can totally understand
so many carrot sticks and ranch.
Absolutely. There's a time and a place for that, but it does get a little old.
Yeah.
I have a new pepper that came, actually, I have some shishitos that we grew. I've got a dozen over here.
So these are green.
They're just such a pretty green, and they're mild, and they just add some zip to a meal. Matter of fact, when I was practicing the recipe I'm going to share on that August 19th, I threw in some of my fresh sweet peppers, and it's amazing what just one little thing does to bump up flavors and makes me feel so good to use what I've got growing. So in fact, that's what we're doing some of it today. I hate to jump in and start talking food.
Let's do it. That's what we're here for. Let's do it, and then we'll talk the wine afterward.
Okay. So today, when Marnell and I were talking about just some little snippet recipes to share on Instagram Live to kind of get to know the audience and them to get to know me, one of the things that immediately came to my mind was a creamy dip. And so I've been making this type of a recipe for probably 4 years or so. But what I love about it is it's really adaptable, both according to the availability of produce in the seasons and what you prefer, your flavors. So your palate, what your palate's kind of dictating that you should do. So the base of this recipe is 1 block of cream cheese. I prefer whole milk cream cheese, not light or fat-free, because what you're getting when you reduce the fat is you're adding moisture. And if we're making a creamy dip, we don't want to water it down. So
that makes sense.
Full fat cream cheese, a block, 8 ounces. For this recipe, I'm using a chunk feta, so a whole block of feta. You can get that like this.
And that normally, when I buy cheese, and I got to keep plugging Brookshire's, and just in the center cheese aisle, you know, when you go to the deli, there's that big center part, and that's where we buy that. That's not in the dairy section, that's in the cheese section in the deli. So,
and Marnell, is that where kind of some specialty cheeses are?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, so that may be where you find a couple other options if you don't like feta. Is this Port Salut? It's a really yummy, buttery, creamy French cheese that has equal savory and sweet notes. I think it would also pair nice with the Edelvit. And so you could substitute this. It's kind of a, you know, it's definitely a semi-soft.
Yeah.
I have also made this using a really buttery, creamy version of blue cheese, this Kiepersol. Really, really good. It's almost like the texture of brie. And you can also use the rind. Don't cut that out. Just throw that in, and it's all edible.
So if you don't, that in place of the feta, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
If you don't like feta, or if you want to try a little variation. Thank you. See, we know each other so well. We're starting to give each other. So that's what I've done. While we were talking, I just gave a light crumble to that feta, and I have that 8-ounce block of full fat cream cheese. And to that, I'm going to add this. These are some onions out of my garden. It's just a little sweet red onion.
Lovely.
Absolutely, grocery store. Get either a shallot or a medium red onion, and give it a fine dice. We don't want a big slice of red onion in our dip, but we do want this.
Just answer this question for me, because it popped up, and I'm not too. I still want you to answer it. I should know this, but I don't. So,
okay.
Flavor-wise, shallot versus an onion. Can you describe that to me? Because purple onion's pretty strong.
Yes, purple onion's pretty strong. A shallot has, if it's a fresh shallot, if it's been sitting around a while, it's going to have a pretty strong peppery flavor. But yes, a red onion has a stronger flavor that I think can stand up to the creaminess of these cheeses. A shallot is a couple dial back of that intense red onion.
And there's an onion here that we grow, noonday. Have you ever heard of a noonday onion?
No.
So if we have any people watching from East Texas, let us know if you guys have ever had noonday onions. Whenever I find some noonday onions at a farmer's market, I'll be sure to send you some, because you can eat them like an apple.
No way.
Yeah, they're so delicious. Noonday onions.
Okay, I'm going to be looking for that. I've never heard of that. Makes me want it in this dip right now.
So I made a mistake. I was calling it a sauce, not a dip. And that's what happens whenever I go from a meeting, and I showed up. Mike was waiting here for me at the clubhouse, and we had 6 minutes before we went live.
So you were just...
I just hopped right on. We're trying so hard, Emily, and fans out there. We're trying very hard to get our grand room opened again. And so that's what we've been working on diligently, is ways that we can do that. And we'll be coming out with news on that in the next couple of weeks. But we think we still have a couple of weeks of being closed up here. So,
well, I think we're all ready to be able to get back in person. And I know people, I'm sure, are missing that beautiful view and the the service and the food and the drinks that come from your spot.
We started harvest tours this week, and I didn't realize this, but yesterday, I think it was yesterday, Tuesday, yesterday I gave my first tour since March.
Oh my goodness.
Crazy.
Did you
Crazy.
feel like it had been forever, or did it feel like
it just like riding a bicycle, but
Yeah.
a little nostalgic. I was like, I haven't done this since March, you know, an official tour. So it's weird.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now tell us what you've done there.
Okay, so I just have some Italian parsley, some fresh Italian parsley. Or you can use curly parsley. You could leave this out, but I like the purple and the white and the green, and in contrast, I think it's pretty. And I have just about 3 tablespoons of that here. And I've removed the stems, but you don't have to remove stems are edible. You don't have to. I just don't like that firmer texture in the dip. You can save that maybe to season a sauce and then remove the stems later.
Okay.
You know, if you're making a pasta sauce. I have.
Yeah.
Are we there? Do you hear me? Okay.
We're here.
Yeah. All of a sudden,
Yes,
the screen
gotcha.
went black. Okay. So I've just added now 4 ingredients: our cream cheese feta, red onion, and some chopped Italian parsley. And
Got it.
the next thing I'm going to do, just to add a little bit of variation, is some sun-dried tomatoes. I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of a jarred, packed in oil, sun-dried tomato. This would be in the olive section.
Yes.
And this one says they're vine-ripened, julienne cut with herbs. So I'm getting a little flavor boost. There's
Gotcha. Those are so good. They have this beautiful tartness to them. I love those on pizza.
Yeah. And you can, another little hint is throw it in your sauce when you're making lasagna. Man, that just made my mouth water thinking about it. And it's okay if you get a little bit of that oil in there. That's just going to
Enhance it.
enhance it. So all you do next is I'm just going to turn on my hand mixer, and I'm going to start off low. And I'm just going to give it a mix. And then I've got some heavy whipping cream that I'm just going to loosen up this dip. I'm just going to give it a drizzle.
So was the cream cheese kind of room temperature already?
Yeah. Yes. I've had that cream cheese sitting out for about an hour.
Okay.
So that's a good tip.
Yeah,
You
that
want
would be where I'm that one last minute I decide I'm going to make this, and I'll be battling the cream cheese.
And you know, cream cheese is so difficult to warm in the microwave. I think it's you know, you cook part of it boils and part of it's still hard. And so yeah, you can just set it out on the counter in the morning. You'll be just fine and ready to use. So I've added about, I would say, 4 tablespoons of cream, heavy cream, to this to get that loosened up. And I'm just using the hand mixer to get everything incorporated. It's kind of helping to break up that feta a little bit more. And at this point,
And you know what?
do what?
What's so interesting about this dish is for the last 3 weeks I've been doing this keto diet, or 4 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is 100% carb free.
Yes.
So far.
And I'm not doing anything. It will remain carb free.
Yay!
And it's gluten free. So you've got some it's really versatile depending upon some different restrictions or needs eating wise. And that's all that you need to do to make that dip. And I'm just going to kind of scrape the sides. I added a little bit of salt and pepper. You don't want to add too much because you're already adding some salty ingredients, and it's easier to taste and add more if you need.
Right, with that cheese, especially, that feta cheese can be pretty salty itself.
Yes. Yep. So that's what it looks like. That's just in my mixing bowl. I know that there I got it. Isn't that a pretty
Fantastic.
color?
Yes.
And I have made a little vegetable board. I know I can read your mind. You're going to ask me, what would we eat this with? And I made, let's see if I can do it without spilling. I made a little vegetable board with some different crackers and carrots and celery and some peppers and onions.
And those beet chips made it to this board again.
Those beet chips. That's what happens. We eat about half a bag and then it's time to put them away.
I love how beautiful they just really add a lot of color to the board.
And it's one of those things that it's an easy ingredient that you get a lot of visual interest. They taste yummy. They really, you know, beets have a notorious earthy flavor, but these really don't. It more tastes like, I would say, a corn chip.
Ooh.
So that's always a treat. Or
Yeah,
you could just keep it simple. Some crackers and peppers for dipping. And I do have one little bonus recipe that'll just take a second with that dip if you want.
Yes, please.
Do you need me to take a bite of this to prove it's good?
Okay, we will watch you eat it.
Let me see. Okay, so what's interesting about the addition of the sun-dried tomatoes is you really do get like a whisper of a pizzeria. The combination of cheese and those yummy sun-dried tomatoes is just so satisfying. So if you're on a little watching what you're eating diet, just one bite of this or even a little plate with your snack, your vegetables, man, you feel like you're not missing out one bit.
Yeah. Well,
So,
you're really not. I mean, that's, you know, I have discovered that whenever you're eating full fat, you don't miss out. You know, you get. So that's a fantastic dish for if anyone is on keto or doing carb free, and if you're just living life normal. So what do you have there?
So here's what I'm doing. I got some yummy button mushrooms, just the white button mushrooms. I have them.
Ooh.
I've removed the stems and I have the cap, the stem side up, and I have that in my little cast iron skillet. And I really love, it's just kind of a hack, but I love these little different sizes of scoops. I used one to serve the dip, but I'm going to use another one to fill these mushrooms.
Wow.
And this is so good. You just get it packed in there. You can have it a little bit heaping. And I'm going to hurry and do this so that I can show you where Kiepersol comes in. This is why I have my Edelvit out. Edelvit is delicious to drink with, but it's also really, really good to cook with. Splurge and get yourself some good wine and cook with it. Drink some of it and cook with some of it.
That's right.
Or get a bottle to cook with and a bottle to drink. How's that?
There you go. Two bottles.
Yeah. So what I did is I just filled all these. That's how quick it took me. I'm leaving that mushroom filling side up. And then I'm going to take about a third of a cup of my Edelvit. I just want it to cover the bottom of this pan fully. Not like where the mushrooms are covered, but the pan is fully submerged in wine. And then I'm going to use, let's see, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. I have another about same amount of cream, third of a cup of cream. And we're going to pour that in here.
And that doesn't curdle at all. That just stays divided up. The acidity from the wine and the cream.
Well, I'm going to pop it in the oven, or else if it's set here, it would curdle.
Okay, good.
And then I've got some freshly grated Parmesan cheese, and I'm just going to do a heap. It's going to be kind of the crust, a crunchy crust on top, and some of it's over spilling into the cream and wine mixture, which is what you want.
Mm-hmm.
You want it to drop.
It's all of that umami that you're getting in there.
It's all the stuff, and it's really a yummy twist on an Alfredo, that wine and cream. And then I'm just going to do a little sprinkle of cracked black pepper. to warm up those mushrooms. And I've done this enough to know that even though we have some salty stuff, those mushrooms need a little bit more salt. So I'm going to give it about a half a teaspoon of sea salt. And then what you do is you stick this whole skillet in the oven, just like this.
That is gorgeous.
Isn't
just
that
like
gorgeous?
that. Yeah.
And you leave it in there for about 30 minutes, and the mushrooms are going to get tender, and the cheese is going to, that feta dip that we made is going to get all melty, and it's going to overfill the mushrooms kind of and get into that sauce. And the sauce itself is going to thicken and turn real buttery with that yummy white wine.
Wow.
And then you just sit there and enjoy. So
wow.
that is my bonus recipe. I thought I can't make this dip without showing you why this dip is so awesome.
The bonus recipe looks insanely delicious. So we will be working on that. Emily, these are easy and lots of fresh food, and it's really inspirational on what we can do in the kitchen. So I'm excited about what we're gonna get to see on the 19th.
Yes. You know what the key is, if you have some really good simple ingredients, they can be spread out over multiple uses. A little bit of this here, a little bit of this. Okay, how about we take this and we make it the filling for a lasagna, or stuff our pasta shells with it. And so when you start really understanding flavors and the purpose of what it is you're making, you start to look for, well, how could I do this a little bit different, or what could I do here? How can I make use of what I have on hand?
Right.
So I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. Now, Mike is sitting here with me, so we're going to be posting, correct, Mike? We'll be posting the ingredients.
Mm-hmm. The shopping list.
So your shopping list. So we're gonna post that shopping list, and we'll have a little bit more information coming out. But for all of you, we really want you to hop on and enjoy this, and then. This is just a little taste of what we're going to bring here live in person as soon as we get this opened up. So we're thinking for the clubhouse, we might have a month or two. We'll see how long that takes. But for the grand room, we'll get open pretty soon. But Emily, hopefully we'll be able to have you here in person in the next 2 or 3 months for sure.
Yes, that's our goal, is to get in there and really talk wine and food all together and show people just how easy it is to make something that's so crazy delicious where all your friends are wondering
and that's
what school you went to.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We all have it. It's right there at our fingertips. It's what do we do with it once we have it, you know?
Yes.
So it's so easy to get all these ingredients. It's just figuring out what to do with them. So I'm excited about that. Would you mind spelling that second cheese out for us, the soft one?
Yes, this is a Port Salut. It's P-O-R-T, 2 words. The first word is port, P-O-R-T, and the last word is Salut, S-A-L-U-T.
Oh, salute. Got
Yes.
it. Got it. And did you say that's a French cheese?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's a
So
French
it looks like, and it's kind of sweet, you said.
It's a sweet and savory balance, and it's got this, it's a kind of a dye. It's not a rind. It's as soft here as it is on the inside.
Oh, wow.
But this is its marker, is this orange.
Okay.
I'm trying to get my light better.
Yeah, I see it.
There
So
it is. Okay.
does Port Salut come in different brands, but it kind of like Manchego, you know, from Spain. Manchego has those little V's and it's black rind. Is it similar to that, where no matter the brand, it always looks the same?
You know, I think that this is, well, what this says right here is Port Salut is a registered trademark. So I think that this variety of cheese
only comes in that brand.
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't know that it's a brand. Well, I mean, I know it's made by a dairy. I see the name of the dairy. I can't pronounce it in France. But I just found this at my local. I've seen it in several different grocery stores. So I think it won't be hard to find.
Okay.
But if it is, brie is a good sub for this. And like I said, you can leave that rind of the brie or that Kiepersol blue on, and it just adds a little bit of a texture to your dip.
Yeah, yeah. Emily, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to next week. I'm going to give a plug for what we're doing.
Yes, let's do it.
So, I teach cooking classes as at a local community college, and one day I was teaching how to make hand-rolled truffles. And as we were working through the ingredients and getting our hands all messy and trying to keep our hands cold and the chocolate cold, we had a bunch of oranges, and I got the idea to make a little garnish with some orange zest and some sugar. And that ended up being the star of the class. We took all the oranges, zested everything, and we made some really yummy things with that orange sugar. And so next week, I'm going to show you exactly how to make orange sugar.
Okay, so next week with that orange sugar or orange zest, I'm feeling a rim glass coming on. We might have to do a cocktail for that one.
Let's do that. I'd love to.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we might be back in the grand room for that with some cocktails behind us, and we might do Valmet's Victini. So that might be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Good. Well, Emily, we'll see you next week.
Okay, Marnell.
Take care.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.